Hey, Tom. Do you want to go to a nearby cafe this weekend? I've finally got a break from work and I want to change things up.
I hadn't seen much of him recently due to my job at a food company with lots of overtime, but it seemed like we could finally spend some time together. However, Tom just frowned and didn't even look up from his newspaper.
Why do we have to do that? Can't I just have some freedom on my day off? No, we haven't talked much lately, right? I thought maybe if we went somewhere different. You know, start talking more naturally.
I was trying to express my loneliness, albeit awkwardly.
What are you talking about?
Tom slammed his newspaper on the table, clearly in a bad mood.
We're not newlyweds anymore.
But, my colleague Henry's wife, Rachel, doesn't go out with him either.
They handle everything they need through text messages.
I knew Rachel. She was as old as us. Married around the same time, and was a kind, beautiful woman, more feminine than I ever was. Tom often compared me to her, urging me to be more considerate like she was. Rachel doesn't talk much with her husband either, so I guess it's the same for me. I couldn't shake off my loneliness, but I began to accept Tom's viewpoint. From then on, I tried to think that maybe this was just how marriages were and tried not to dwell on it too much. That was 2 months before my birthday. And time passed, bringing my 58th birthday. I managed to finish work early that day, getting home before 5 p.m. I guess I'll be spending it alone again this year. Tom had been busy with work, often returning after midnight and going straight to bed. So I hadn't brought up wanting to celebrate my birthday together. As I was about to celebrate alone with a cake I bought myself, Tom unexpectedly came home with a department store bag.
Maria. Here, this is for you.
He handed me a box. Inside was a necklace from a high-end brand, something I had never worn before.
Today's your birthday, right? Do you like it?
I'm so happy. Thank you. I replied with a big smile, and Tom awkwardly scratched his head. And he also brought home some high-end tea and sweets that he said he had bought at a fair.
I've always been grateful to you, Maria, but I couldn't express it properly. This is how I feel. Tom.
I had given up on having conversations with him, resigning ourselves to being just like air to each other. But this surprise made me realize Tom's love for me, warming my heart and soul. Before I knew it, tears naturally started flowing from my eyes. I'm so happy.
Try it on.
After wiping my tears, I put on the necklace and checked my look in the mirror. Tom watched me with a smile. It was a moment when I truly felt grateful to be his wife. Suddenly, Tom took out a suitcase from the closet.
Sorry to do this on such a day, but I've got to go on a business trip for a week.
He said he had to get ready and leave immediately. While packing, he kept apologizing.
Sorry we can't celebrate properly.
And he kept apologizing over and over again. But it's work, so it can't be helped. I was disappointed, but I smiled and saw him off.
Hey, don't worry about me and finish up that tea. The salesperson said it's made of special leaves that should be consumed within half a day of opening.
Sorry.
I opened the package at the store to check the smell. Gotta go now.
Leaving those words behind, he rushed out the door. Left alone, I savored Tom's kindness. But at that time, I had no idea that a tragedy was about to unfold. About 30 minutes after Tom left, I took out a teapot to steep the tea leaves when the doorbell rang. I was in the neighborhood for an errand and thought I'd drop by. My 84-year-old mother-in-law, who often visited our house unexpectedly, was at the door. We had a good relationship and I always welcomed her visits. This fancy tea is too good to drink alone, I'll share it with her. I prepared a teacup for her and laid out some snacks. Just then, a courier delivery arrived. Seeing that it was a frozen item, I told her to start without me and began unpacking it. But I struggled to fit it in the crowded freezer. Still, I somehow managed to rearrange the freezer, and then I went to sit at the table to drink some tea myself. Finally, after rearranging, I was about to join her for tea when I saw something unimaginable.
Oh, Hang in there, please.
She had suddenly started foaming at the mouth and collapsed. She quickly became limp and unresponsive, her face turning pale and her eyes closing.
I'm calling an ambulance right now.
15 minutes later, the paramedics arrived and she was rushed to the nearby hospital. I couldn't reach Tom and didn't know what to do, so I just prayed. Later, thanks to the doctors' and nurses' efforts, she was saved. It seemed she might have eaten or drunk something harmful. But when she regained consciousness, she couldn't think of anything that could have caused it. Fortunately, she was doing well and could be discharged soon, but at her age of 84, she was admitted overnight just to be safe.
Hello, Tom? I finally got through. It's been hectic here. Something in the food caused your mom to be hospitalized.
I called his cell while handling the hospital paperwork, expecting him to be worried. But what he said was totally unexpected.
Huh? Why are you okay? What?
Confused, I asked him what he meant.
What do you mean? Oh, no. I mean, if you're okay, Maria, that's good. But, please take care of Mom.
He hurriedly made excuses and hung up. It almost sounded like he wished I had been the one to collapse. Despite hoping it was just a misunderstanding, I headed to her hospital room. But in the midst of casual conversation with her, a shocking truth was revealed. What does this mean? Trying to make sense of everything, I began to suspect Tom. And like unraveling tangled threads, I decided to verify my thoughts one by one. That's it. It's over. Realizing Tom's betrayal, I braced myself for the end of our marriage. But just filing for divorce wasn't enough for me. I was determined to make Tom experience the same agony as my mother-in-law. I'll definitely make him suffer, I resolved firmly. A week later, Tom returned from his business trip.
Welcome back. You must be tired. Here, have a drink and relax.
I received his bag at the entrance and took care of him diligently. When I offered him a warm cup, he started sipping it.
How's the taste? Huh? It tastes like the usual tea.
I frowned and peered at his face, which looked perfectly normal.
That's strange. That was the fancy tea leaves you gave me for my birthday.
As soon as he heard my words, Tom spit out the tea he was drinking and splashed it on the floor.
What have you done to me?
He rushed to the kitchen, gulping down water and trying to vomit by sticking his fingers down his throat, clearly panicking.
I'm done for.
He was sweating, looking sickly and pale.
Call an ambulance.
He asked for help, but I just watched silently. Then he tried to call himself. I quickly snatched his phone away.
What are you doing?
Relax.
That was just ordinary tea I bought earlier.
I showed him the tea package, and he collapsed weakly on the floor.
So you panicked because you knew something fishy was in the tea leaves. What are you suddenly talking about?